Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. I'm coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And today, I woke up really late. Really late, much later than I ever have before. Well, not ever have before, but in a long time. I know I broke the record last week for the latest, and so I thought that was not ever going to get pushed, but was a little bit different today. And I actually slept longer. So I don't know that it's a bad thing, but it was a different kind of error, I suppose. Like, I actually did wake up at 4, but then I was like, actually, I don't know how it shows up on my watch. It doesn't show up that I was awake for that long, but I was doing a pretty good job of fighting for my life to cling on to being awake. Like, I really was. I was doing a very good job of being awake even though I shouldn't have. Basically, like, usually when I try that, I just end up drifting off back into sleep. But this time when I was doing it, I actually did stay awake. So, of course, until I didn't, which was like really late. So then I accidentally fell asleep like way too late, which pushed me to now, which is going to be probably the latest arrival in a while. But I think we're going to try to speed to compensate for that. But we're definitely not going to match. Remember, I was really happy last week when I had my 5 days in a row the exact same clock time. I know that's not going to happen. Like, it's just way too late. I seriously have not been running this late in like a very, very long time. Like, this is not good. I am not really doing well, I would say. And I don't know how to describe it. I just think there's a lot of change and there's a lot of new things to understand, and really all that I want now is my iPhone Air, which I don't think I talked about on this show, but it's kind of strange that I didn't see it. Because, like, when I was first thinking about these new phones, it was just like automatically the Pro. It was automatically the Pro. I didn't really think twice about it. But, and then I wanted to recommend to a lot of the more casual people I know, please get this Air. This product is for you. It's, please do it. And nobody wants to do it. But I'm realizing that, and it's kind of funny because the recordings that I was talking about the iPhone, it's so strange that I didn't notice or see it before. Because if you think about the way I use a phone, I don't need a lot of battery life. We could riskily go the other way, but I don't really want to do that. I mean, it's not really that big of a risk. It's just like I was theorizing the other way could be faster. So that was just my like potential, but I don't want to mess with that on such a high stakes day like today. I just don't want to do that. And anyways, and you can go back in the video and see. You can see and hear, like, I'm obsessed with the Pro. Like, I'm definitely going to get the Pro, and I'm talking about I'm upset that more people aren't getting the Air. But think about what the the things that I cared about and what the air struck. Mainly being the maintenance of the titanium. I mean, I can't believe I haven't even seen it until now, but the Air is basically the perfect phone for me. Because they kept the titanium, which was a huge deal for me. It's thinner and lighter, which comes at a compromise of worse battery life and worse thermal performance, but those are both things that don't matter to me at all because I can charge my phone at work, so like there's no reason why I would ever need my battery life to be long. And in addition to that, I don't even use any battery draining things anyway. You know, my general battery usage is very low because I don't do any gaming, which would be the main battery draw, because then you're kicking up the GPU. And then lastly, even with all this stuff, it still maintains the latest CPU, which is usually my most important factor anyway. Like, I like to have a new phone for the new CPU. So I don't really know how else to say it, but this iPhone Air has been really my thing and the thing that I want and the thing that I need this whole time. And I would have bought the Pro. I think I would have ordered it by now. Yep, I would have. And it seems kind of interesting that I decided not to get anything, but then now I'm realizing what my true calling would be. Now, of course, I think it's a karmically neutral decision. I don't think it would really ruin me, but it definitely, I think, would be more impressive for me to wait and still not buy anything at all. But I think it's odd how optimized the Air is for me, and it's kind of a shame that I didn't get my hands on it, you know, because I splurged and got the 16 Pro Max first, although admittedly the Pro Max is a much better all-rounder phone. But I would definitely like that Air. I definitely would like it. And yeah, it's kind of a shame. And so I'm wondering, since I'm really not in a good way right now, I'm wondering if I should just buy the Air just to kind of lift me out of whatever rut I'm in. But at the same time, it almost doesn't, like, I'm not in a buying things mood, so it's just not going to feel good, you know? And that's like the problem. I can't really enjoy it right now. So it's all a shame, you know, because ultimately it feels like way too much of a forced thing if I were to buy it. It doesn't feel like something that I can actually sit back and enjoy. So I think it's probably something I'm just going to wait on. I'm hoping that since they're not really selling that well, fairly soon they will begin to crop up on eBay at, like, you know, reduced prices. Because that, you know, that could happen, really. That's kind of my hope, at least. I'm not really sure, though. Because that usually doesn't trigger this early, but again, we'll have to see. Because it's possible it could. But I guess that's my plan, is like, it's a shame because I want to jump on it. But I can't. I can't because I don't really feel good enough right now. And I don't, like, it wouldn't feel good for me to purchase something right now. It would feel bad. Because you guys have seen the begin. Well, this show didn't capture it fully, but you saw basically the end of a spending phase. So yeah, you guys saw the end of a spending phase. But usually that is longer. Like, or, well, it started probably in May or April. But you kind of saw the peak of it, honestly. But now when I'm not in the spending phase, it's just even worse. Like, it's not, you know, when I'm not in a spending phase, like, what do I mean it's even worse? What am I even saying? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Maybe I was gonna say it's even worse because I feel worse, but that doesn't. What I was originally going to get at is that, the not spending phase is better. It's just I usually don't feel good. Like, typically when I'm stuck in these phases, it's like, it's kind of hard just to function. Because I've been here before. The last time I've really been in a pretty hyper aggressive spending craze for a while now. The last one that I clearly remember, actually, sorry, this is a bad way to word it. The last not spending craze that I was in, I remember it very clearly. I believe it would have been, I want to say 2021, late 2021 is what I want to say it was. And late 2021, oh my gosh. Sorry. Just forgot about something. But it's fine. Late 2021, there had been like multiple months where I just didn't buy anything at all. And I remember I kept saying, I want stuff to buy, I want stuff to buy, I need stuff to buy. Like, but still months had went on without me buying anything, and I saved up a good amount of money. And then, eventually I didn't blow through all of it, but I blew through a lot of it. It was probably, so that was a long time ago. Really, the past 4 years, I guess, have not had that much restraint, or there may have been periods of time, there may have been micro saving and unsaving periods, but I think you get what I mean. Like, it really wasn't the most frugal of times. Like, it was a lot of indulging, so lots and lots of indulging. But anyways, that brings us to now where I don't know that I'm going to be able to pull the trigger, honest. Like, I mean, I really want this iPhone Air, but I just don't think I can do it. I think what will probably happen is maybe in a few months, if I spot one on eBay for like a pretty low price, which I think will be possible given its reception has not been the greatest, but that's what we're theorizing. But that's kind of how I feel like now. I don't know what else there really is to mention or whatever. I'm getting pretty tired of working, especially because I can't get my hours. But we're undergoing a pretty critical realignment, I think, spiritually. A pretty critical realignment. But the world is very hectic right now. The economy is showing more indication of crashing. And that's the crazy part, is I could lose all that I've worked for. So that's nice, because the great reset is coming soon. And I think I might be able to see it. We may see it in the seizure of property. I know GPT doesn't think it, but I think it. That the seizure of property will be coming soon. Because I see no other way for humanity to prosper. To get over to the next timeline, we need to give up on property. It's just crazy how crazy it is. That's the truth. It's crazy how crazy it is. Yeah, wow, again, I'm sorry guys, but according to my thing, I got great sleep, but I guess I'm just not feeling it, because typically my morning routine used to be so good. I used to really have time to process things a little bit more. But yeah, now I just want my air, and I want to exit the rat race. That's really all I need, is that precious air. That's all I need. I love that phone. Nobody likes it. But I feel finished. I mean, I don't know why it's such a tumultuous time, but it really has been, not only in my life, but in the world. It's just all so crazy. Sorry, thinking and not speaking. I really need to get out of the habit of doing that. But I think there is kind of a natural progression to things, and I'm going to equate it to my physical natural progression. And I felt this back when I was getting older. By the time I was 17, I started to feel this way, that walking was too much work. And so sitting was comfortable, and then eventually sitting became too much work. And then laying down was the only way to get comfortable. And then eventually after that it would be death, obviously. So what is the solution? Or what is analogous to that is the typing. Texting is the most work. Then speaking is much easier. And that's where we're at now. But then obviously compared to speaking, thinking is far easier. It's far faster. Well, I'm realizing as I say that, I think some people might disagree. There might be some people who don't even agree with that sentiment, honestly. For some people, it probably would be easier to speak. For some, speaking could be easier to think. I'm not sure though. I think I will ask, because thinking has to be faster than speaking, right? Like it has to be, but there are people who don't follow that. Like some people don't really think that much. So, but I think at least subconsciously it is easier, in terms of, obviously, if you have a Neuralink in somebody's brain and you can scan their thoughts, that's much more data than whatever they decide to speak, right? That's like the ultimate connection I can really give to, yeah. Think you get what I mean. It's even in somebody who is not very Yeah, wow, it's insane how late I'm gonna be. I mean, I already knew that, but it's like sinking in. Sorry, wow, I've been doing that a little bit too much recently. Before, I think my brain might be needing space. And the thing is, driving, it is like a very good time to have space, and it's something to do that I mean, a lot of people see driving as like therapeutic. Some people drive just for fun, and it's kind of difficult for me to do that because I'm always thinking about wear and tear, fuel, and how driving for fun is a very, like, not really that great kind of thing to do. But it is true. I mean, it is kind of nice to drive when there isn't traffic, I guess. I can't say that I don't like it. Especially if I had some nice car. Which, well, I mean, the car I have, it's probably nicer than a lot of people, but not crazy. I think it's a fairly average. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Where am I going with this? Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough time to think. And the car would be a good time. And, when I first started recording, it was fine because it was so exciting to record that I didn't really think about it too much. But now it's kind of like, well, it's been so long that I wonder if at some point I should just take a break or have break days. And I have thought about that recently, how I could make it so one day out of the week I don't do the recording. Or maybe I just do a different thing. Maybe one day out of the week I have the mic running, but there's not an imperative to speak. It's only if I actually want to say something and I can think and do whatever I want. But, like, the mic will still be on if, in the off chance I did want to say anything. I think that's another point, too, is a lot of times when I would talk to myself, I would talk about more private or personal matters, which I obviously do not do on the show because it's very public recordings. And I just, I don't want to be talking about other people in that way. So I think that maybe even, those maybe like private recordings or something. I don't know. Because my output's definitely high enough. It's not like I'm not making enough content. So I've thought about that. We could be transitioning into a very we could transition into one day off a week, and just a day for me to drive, and because it has been kind of crazy. I mean, I hope this isn't the end of my productiveness with the show, but I'm saying it has been crazy that I've continued to do this. And I've just noticed that recently I have those moments where my mouth shuts in the middle of the episode and I just start thinking, because that's kind of how it would be before. Like, I would talk, but I would think. I wouldn't say everything. I wouldn't talk to myself about every single thing. So, but I'm upset with humanity. I'm upset because I'm realizing, and I guess I've always known this, but the nature of the world is very oppositional to the things that I think about or care about, which is the greater good for humanity. Most people don't have that consciousness for trying to structure things in that way. And it's evident in the way society behaves, because there's lots of things that we could have solved by now, and we don't. And it's only due to a lack of care. You know, at this point in modernity, we have the technology, we have the potential, and not only are businesses and schools and all these things way behind, but it doesn't really seem like much is being done to implement stuff properly at all. So, we have this amazing technology that could really change the world for the better, although it would require, you know, some planning and some execution skills that people at the moment obviously don't have, and haven't for a while. I think some people might care, but people aren't even aware of all the shortcomings that even exist in our planet and in our society. Many people aren't even good at managing their own lives, let alone being able to comprehend how their own decisions affect other people. And so society has continued to become more animalistic and depraved. Yeah, you know, I said I was going to be really late, but we're probably only going to be 3 or 4 minutes later than usual. So, like, am I really overreacting? Yeah, probably. It's just like being a little bit silly. I mean, it's kind of a lot, but that's actually not even really that crazy. It's probably going to be 4 minutes unless we get particularly lucky. Well, it's actually not even luck-based at this point because there's no more lights, but I can't really predict the time, so can't really predict the time. Probably not. I mean, yeah, no, we just got gypped. That's kind of annoying. But what can you do? Alright, I guess we're done in here. Car is off. Kind of a shame, though. We ruined our streak. Ruined our streak. What to do? But yeah, I know it's like not, but I was driving pretty fast, so I do think that kind of overcompensates a little bit. Like but even still, like what? I still actually wasn't even that off time. Oh gosh. Oh. Another week. Another week, my friends. Just another week. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Just thinking about how people are stupid and annoying, and with the whole like company layoffs thing, like, oh well, at least you're not getting laid off, and it's like, yeah, like that's fair. Like it's even fair, right, that people get laid off. Crazy. How crazy things are. Crazy expectations. All right, well, I say it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see schla.